Be attentive, everyone. Now, what is standard deviation? Understand it. There are 9 formulas in that, but we will be using only 3 formulas. But you have to remember all the 9 formulas. There are certain objective questions where any formula can be used. Like for example, even in arithmetic mean, you had to remember all the 6, direct and short method. But we used only 3 formulas out of that. Here also there are 9, but we will use 3. You have to remember all the 9 because in short objective question, any formula may be used. Now what is the standard deviation? Standard deviation is the positive square root of average of squares of deviations of. Just be attentive. First of all, ungrouped data. Silence. Complete silence now. Ungrouped data, there are 3 formulas. One is square root of sigma x minus x bar whole square upon n. This is the main formula of standard deviation which will never be applied. As per the definition, the formula which is open, the other ones are the derived ones, reduced ones. So main formula is sigma x minus x bar upon whole square upon n. Now, what is the definition? Understand it. First of all, what is square root of 4? Wrong. It's plus minus 2. Square root of 4 is plus minus 2. Plus 2 square is also 4. Minus 2 square is also 4. But I told you that measure of dispersion is always absolute, never negative. Dispersion means we just want to know how much it is away, how much it is scattered. So there is never negative. Therefore, when we define the standard deviation, we say positive square root. Because square root can be positive as well as negative. In the definition, we will specifically mention it as a positive square root. Means whatever final answers we get will always take them positive only. So how do you start the definition? It is positive square root. Okay. Then can I say this is average? So positive square root of average. Repeat it.
Positive square root of average.
Of squares.
Of squares.
No, repeat completely.
Positive
Square root of average of squares. Of deviation.
of deviation.
Positive square root of average of squares of deviations of all the observations. Positive square root of average of squares of deviations of all the observations from arithmetic mean. Positive square root of average of squares of deviations of all the observations from arithmetic mean. I told you you'll also be able to speak that. Try one more time.
Positive square root of average of squares of deviations of all the observations of arithmetic mean.
This will come for. Is everyone clear with this? So remember the formula and from that directly you get the definition. Anyone who is not clear with this? Now, as I said, there are total 9 formulas. The other one is square root of sigma xi square upon n minus sigma xi upon n whole square. And the third one is sigma di square upon n minus sigma di upon n whole square. These two are direct method and this is short method. Second formula is derived and reduced from the first one. So both are direct method, this is short method. But like in arithmetic mean and group data, we always solve by direct method. Here also we will always use second formula. You remember all the 3, but we will use second formula. Did you understand this? Write this for ungroup, discrete and continuous you can write along with. So we will always be solving the question by second formula only. Okay? Now see, when we go with frequency distribution, listen everyone, When we go with frequency distribution, this will get multiplied with Fi. This will get multiplied with Fi. And here also Xi will get multiplied with Di square will get multiplied with Fi and Di will get multiplied with Fi. So that on discrete frequency distribution means Xi and Fi will be given. First formula is S is square root of sigma Fi x minus x bar whole square upon n. Understood that x minus x bar whole square gets multiplied with Fi. Second formula is square root of sigma Fi xi square upon n minus sigma Fi xi upon n whole square. And third formula is square root of sigma Fi di square upon n minus sigma Fi di upon n whole square. Now be attentive, how would you find Fi xi square? Suppose Fi xi is 18 and 20 and so on. How would you find Fi xi square? 18 square. That mistake should not be done. It is not Fi xi whole square. It is only xi square multiplied with Fi. So you remember here that Fi xi square will be equal to Fi xi into xi. When you do Fi xi into xi, what happens? Xi into xi becomes xi square and Fi remains as it is. So what mistake should not be done with Fi xi square? Don't square Fi xi directly. That will become, what you are doing is Fi xi whole square, which is wrong. What we need is Fi multiplied with xi square. So how do you find Fi xi square in this? Fi xi into xi. Got it everyone? Same way, how do you find Fi di square? Fi di into di. Understood this? Now continuous frequency distribution. First two formulas will remain exactly same. The only thing xi will be mid-value. Last one will be multiplied with C, class level, because it's continuous frequency distribution. So then on continuous frequency distribution, S is equal to first two formulas exactly same. Sigma Fi x minus x bar whole square upon n square root sigma Fi xi square upon n minus sigma Fi xi upon n whole square. The only thing you have to remember in the first two formulas is that xi will be mid-value. Okay, the only thing in the first two formulas what you have to remember is xi will be mid-value. And third formula will be same but it will be multiplied with C. Means square root of sigma Fi di square upon n minus square root minus sigma Fi di upon n whole square and outside the square root into C. Understood this? Everyone? In ungrouped and discrete we'll always use the second formulas and in continuous we'll always use the third formula if class length is equal. Okay? In ungrouped and discrete, exactly like last chapter. Ungrouped and discrete mean we always found by direct method, but continuous we always found by short method. Same thing here also. Ungrouped and discrete second formula, but continuous third formula. One more thing, if you remember in ungrouped and discrete in mean, di was xi minus a. So we did a plus sigma di upon n, sigma Fi di upon n. And in continuous it was xi minus a upon c. So we did a plus sigma Fi di upon n into c. Here nowhere we are doing a plus. At the end of the last chapter's lecture, I made you write one property of mean. Mean is affected by change of origin and scale. Means mean is affected by plus, minus, into, divide. But here it's not like that. All the measures of dispersion are affected only by scale. means multiplication and division. They are not affected by plus and minus. Therefore, what you do x minus a does not affect standard deviation, so we don't have to cancel it by doing plus a. What you do x minus a divide by c. It is affected by changing the scale. So to cancel the division of c, we do into c. Minus a does not affect, so we don't do plus a. Divide by c affects, so we do into c. Understood that? Then in the beginning, below standard deviation, one more measure I made you write in bracket. Variance. Below standard deviation in absolute measures, I made you write one more measure in bracket, that was variance. Variance is always equal to s square. Standard deviation square. Only this much you will remember. Standard deviation square is variance. In case you find the variance, same formulas without square root. Because if you square them, square root will get cancelled. Same formulas, like here if you define, then square root will not come. Variance is asked. Then you say s square equals to sigma xi square upon n minus sigma xi upon n whole square. Square root will not come. Okay? And its relative measure is coefficient of standard deviation. What is the actual concept of relative measure I made you write? Absolute dispersion divided by central tendency. Here absolute dispersion is S. And again see which central tendency we are using. Mean, so upon x bar. Like we did MD upon x bar, here also S upon x bar. Did you understand this? Also in this second formulas, what is sigma xi upon n? What is sigma xi upon n? X bar. So you can directly do x bar square also. Even what is sigma xi upon n? You can directly do x bar square also. In short method you cannot do that. Did everyone understand this? So all these points just keep in. Any confusions? Okay. Now look at exercise 4.4. One question only I am going to take up. Exercise 4.4 in manual term. They are very small questions. Exercise 4.4, page 149. Question 1. Understand the things properly. Some new techniques in calculator will come, so be attended. The marks obtained by 9 students in a test of 100 marks in mathematics are given below. From 64 to 69, find the standard deviation of marks obtained by the students. It is ungrouped data, so we'll use the second formula. See, observations xi are given to you. If you use this second formula, only one working is required, xi square. Only one working is required, that is xi square. Understood this? So, read on the observations. Did you all write this down? Now, how would you obtain 64 square? 64 into 64. Do it. 64 into 64 equals to 4096. Now do it as I am saying. 64 into equals to. That's it. Into equals to. You directly get this value. Did you understand this portion? Yes. Further, we can use the memory functions because we need the total also. So now do it as I am saying. 64 into m plus. Write out 4096. Don't press on anywhere in between, okay? Then do 63 into m plus 3969. Do 72 into m plus 5184. Do 65 into m plus 4225. 68 into m plus 4624. 69 into m plus 4761. 66 into m plus 4, 3, 5, 6. 67 into m plus 4, 4, 8, 9. 69 into m plus 4, 7, 6, 1 plus mr 4, 0, 4, 6, 5. Are you all clear with this portion, everyone? Any doubts on this? Now this is 16 to 9, 540, 600, 610, 14, 17, 19, 24, 32, 41, 47, 54, 63. 673 or 63? 763. Just do that total again. 603. Yes, did you all write up till here? Now, standard deviation we have to find by that second formula. Write down square root of sigma xi square upon n minus sigma xi upon n whole square. Square root of sigma xi square upon n minus sigma xi upon n whole square. Now listen its application carefully. Sigma xi square is 40465. So square root of 40465 upon n there are 9 observations. Okay. Minus sigma xi. Sigma xi is 603. Divide by n is again 9 whole square. Did you understand this? Now 40465 divided by 9. 4496.11 minus 603 divided by 9, 67 whole square. 4496.11 minus 4489. 67 square, how will you do? 67 into equals to. So 7.11. Do square root of 7.11. 2.67. Did you all understand this portion, everyone? Solve question 2 on your own, it will not take much time. But their values are also very small. Yes, there is one, but